All right, so welcome back to the channel. My name's Kevin.
I'm Tarsha.
This is Conversations with the Crawleys. We do conversations about faith, family, relationships, and we happen to do recaps, reviews, and commentary on some of our favorite shows. This one is all about finally at the reunion special of Married at First Sight.
A year later. It's a year later.
Okay. So if this is content that you enjoy, you know what you need to do. Hit that subscribe, hit the like, request notifications,
and share.
We'll see you in the comments. Consider becoming a member and checking out the merch store. All right. So yeah, we're finally at this reunion. It seems like
clap
this
for that.
Yes, this season started like 3 years ago. It feels like they just get a little clap. They don't get a whole full one. All right. So of course Kevin is there and he's interviewing. He's kind of like, all right, guys, have fun. Let's get that energy up. Let's have fun here. Going around talking about, how things are going. Of note, not really of note, but Dom talks about how she's getting people sliding in her DMs asking for cleavage pics. Exactly.
I just feel like that's oversharing.
Yeah.
But okay. I believe it.
Yeah. People have been saying that Jasmine should be getting with Gil.
I don't see that.
I don't see it either.
I don't see that either.
Clint,
This is barely, I think the end of this season, since they dragged out that middle part, so you're almost to the point, do I care? I've already seen that they moved on.
Right.
And so since I've already seen that they've moved on, why am I caring at this point? That's kind of how I feel about it.
Because if we're honest, and this is a spoiler alert, but there wasn't any major new stuff, in my opinion, from the reunion special.
No.
At least in this first one.
No, because if you get to see a couple more weeks after the life, you can tell, like, okay, this is how they're moving on.
Right.
This is how they felt about so-and-so and so-and-so.
Mm-hmm.
So with all that being the case, it's just like you're kind of just rehashing what already we know it's going down.
Exactly. Clint moved. So Clinton is no longer in the same building as Gina. So him and Hank, they ain't gonna see each other in the hallways or anything like that.
That's the news I want to hear. I want to hear where the relationship is.
Let's see what Clinton and Hank are.
Hank is. They should have brought Hank out. He could have had his own little mat.
Listen.
And tell the audience who he preferred on national TV. So when the divorce is final, we knew who Hank was going to.
Who's Hank's parent?
Right?
That's what we want to know.
That's what we want to know. Where is Hank in this?
Yeah.
Because everything else up to that part was just like, okay, so Clint's in the same building as Chris and Nicole. So, and he feeds them. It's like, but as we've
Can we just talk about how weird that is? I'm sorry.
Well, if they're friends, I get it. They're coming over his house. They're hanging out. He's going over there, bringing stuff. So based off of how they cast, like every season, they become close. So I see that.
So if one of my boys, if we were had just gotten married or whatever, if one of my boys was like, I'm going to come bring y'all dinner. I'm going to come bring y'all lunch.
I'd be like, yeah, tell him to bring it over. I was like, tell him to bring it over. I'm just saying, he could bring it over. I'm taking free food. Someone's already cooking for us.
Okay. All right. All right. Mac is back in Michigan.
We knew that.
And he has a house. So he actually went and spent money and got a house. Okay.
Good for him.
And it's Flint, Michigan. So he might have.
He found a very cheap house.
Yeah.
That he probably fixed up.
I wonder if his water issues is fixed. We on year 92 and Flint, Michigan still ain't got good water.
Those people have to have. Can they even filter the water?
I don't know. You just get bottled water. I wouldn't trust the filter.
I wouldn't trust it either.
There was they talked about Clint's issue or his statement as far as the cylinder, which it's been rehashed over and over again.
It was his preference.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Gina had talked about it.
Yep.
And she brought it to the group, and then it got blown out of proportion.
I believe so. Yep.
Because if you told me you have a preference, good for you.
Because he wasn't saying that I'm not attracted to you. He said this is what I've normally dated.
Right. Okay, I get it.
Cool. All right. There is the talk about Eris's cousin, who y'all remember she was like engaged in the whole conversation, like for the first 2-3 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you know, because there was a flashback where Eris was talking to Jasmine, and Jasmine, he's like, you came in kind of looking like you worked a 16-hour day.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, she was like, I just don't want this person around.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, I want somebody strong. I want somebody. What do you want her to do? Do you want her to like all of a sudden just come to blows with your cousin and have a Royal Rumble cage match? The fact that she's saying she doesn't want to deal with your person, I think is very strong. She's also saying, because she's saying, I'm not putting up with this. I'm going to protect my peace. Someone who's not aggressive, or someone who's not strong, I should say, would have just gone ahead and taken it and suffered in silence.
I just think he didn't understand what his cousin was doing wasn't appropriate, because he lived with her and, you know, he'd known her since 4 months old. He had no self-awareness that her not supporting him first and foremost, even though she was right. There's a way to support your cousin, even when they make decisions that are not right. You could say, hey, I don't think this is the right decision for you right now. There's some things you might need to be doing differently. And if you're going to go through this process, you know, if you don't want to be a part of it, that's fine. But there's a better way to say it.
I hear that.
There's a better way to say it.
I hear that. I think that Eris just wanted someone ratchet.
It's possible.
Because I think that's what he means by someone who's strong. Because, you know, even as they were talking with Kevin, basically, you know, we've heard that he had dated he had slept with her friend, someone that she knew as a friend. And she's like, Jasmine's like, this person and me are complete opposite ends of the spectrum. Right. So I think that Eris's code word or keyword as far as wanting someone strong means that he wants someone aggressive. He wants someone who is loud, boisterous, and what have you.
It's possible.
And that's not what Jasmine is.
No.
At all.
But if that's your type, that's your type. Rock with it.
So when they do finally talk with just them talking with Kevin, the thing I don't care for is that Eris keeps making it seem like there's this big dark secret about Jasmine that he's like, I'm protecting, I'm keeping, I don't want to say anything.
No, this is about him and not him having the backlash because he likes a certain type of woman.
But the way he's positioning it is, I don't want to do this because, you know, I've come to know her family. I don't want to do anything to harm her family, what have you. So he's putting it like it's on her, like there's some dark secret that
he's been doing that the whole season.
I agree.
On her.
I just don't care for it.
So,
we also find that he does sometimes just say the most ridiculous things when he's tired and when he's like ready to be done filming. Because there was the unshown scene of him saying that he wanted an open marriage. Jess was like, no, that ain't happening. He's like, well, you know, we'll talk in 20 years.
That's what I can tell by his face. I was just like, you just playing too much.
Yeah. So,
and granted, the filming is very long from what we heard behind the scenes. So I get it. I don't think anyone should negate the process of them being in front of the camera.
Right.
And then trying to still establish a relationship where off the camera. So
yeah.
I get what's going on.
Her friend Adrian came out, and the main thing from her friend was like she was concerned about the mental health of Jasmine, which it would make sense. Where they are now, basically, he started volunteering at homeless shelters. She is in the process of starting her own spa. They are friends. She's like, we got friend zone. I got friend zone, you know, early on. So they have a friendship, but she is now dating Friend Boy.
That's her man.
That's her man.
We still don't have a name for this person.
And here's the thing. We found out that she actually was like, don't show his picture. Don't show his face.
Well, yeah, we knew that when they went on a date. She said she didn't want to be seen unless they were actually in a relationship.
Yeah, but it just came off weird. So we needed that full confirmation that that's what it was. and that he wasn't.
She said that. I thought she made it clear when she said it that she didn't want him to be seen until they're in a relationship.
Okay.
So it was clearly made.
Yeah, and by the way, Eris did not go on a second date with Kendra.
We knew that.
That wasn't going to happen, period. No. Nicole and Chris.
They're in a
still
good
together.
relationship, right? They found their person and they're doing well.
Yep.
They're trying to get a house. So, and dad's happy. Nicole's dad's happy. So again, we
Dogs
saw
are happy.
that.
Everybody's happy.
Everybody's kumbaya.
Yep. Even Kevin, was like, look, I apologize because I didn't think I was going to last. I still have, I think that they're together, right?
Oh yeah. I think they're gonna last. It's just gonna take time.
Yes. So all right. Then they meet with all the ladies. So all the ladies kind of sit and talk. Nicole is the counseling person and the mother hen for everybody in the group. Jasmine has a breakdown moment because she didn't get what she wanted, and she didn't get what she was supposed to get because Eris was just who Eris was.
Yeah.
There is also the talk of how quickly the guys got back into the streets.
Mm-hmm.
But then what was interesting was they were like, okay, of the people that don't have a person now, what type of person do they need? So for, what's her name? Dominique, whatever her name is, Dom.
Yeah.
They said she needed like a lumberjack.
Right. Someone earthy, outdoors.
Adventurous, whatever.
I gotcha.
For Jasmine, did they say for Jasmine?
Jasmine, they were saying that she's going to stick with her man and they're going to be together. So they didn't want another breakup for her.
Right. And then for what's her name? Gina.
Mm-hmm. Gina, they, it wasn't really clear what they were saying.
It was just kind of like they need somebody who's got swag and
swag. Someone's a man's man,
right.
Take charge, because she can be very introvert, I guess, be an introvert.
Yeah. But then when it got to Kirsten, they were like, Shaq.
It's like, what? Didn't we move on or did we move on?
So again, I think everyone except for Shaq and Kirsten, or really for Shaq, see that they were a great fit. So, all right. Gina and Clint talk with Kevin.
They're friends.
They are friends.
Again, no talk of Hank.
No mention of Hank.
That's who they should have been, really. That's the star of the show. Yeah. Hank is.
And Clint is now dating someone.
Right.
So
he's in a relationship.
That was pretty much it for them.
Yeah, the cliffhanger.
Oh, now they do. Now, one thing that was interesting was that he pretty much described Gina as far as the physical characteristics of what he was looking for. He described her. So again, that's why, this whole thing of him talking about her weight does not add up with what he said, right? I think it was, again, blown out of proportion, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then Kirsten and Shaq. Mm-hmm. So he does say that he went back to therapy.
Thank you. Yeah. I think because his perspective is very not screwed, but
no, it is screwed up. It is skewed and screwed.
It's screwed.
It's chopped and screwed.
I'm just like, if you say support one more time, I'm gonna support you. All right. Stop saying she's not supportive. She is very supportive based off of what we saw. Mm-hmm. She was supportive the best way she knew how. She didn't know you. She was getting to know you and trying to be supportive. I don't know his definition. He still can't define to him what support is.
Right.
Unless you mean holding your balls. I don't know what other type of support the woman could have gave him. I don't know what else she could support in his life. She said she kept him on track for his homework. Mm-hmm. She was cooking. She was cleaning. She was folding clothes, washing clothes, supporting him, making sure she didn't show up at one event. You tell last minute she's supposed to read minds and be this super wife.
So let me say, because I've told you how I appreciated when I was doing my master's program. You made sure that things were taken care of. You made sure that the kids were taken care of, all of that stuff. And so when I had to lock myself in the office because I had papers due and stuff like that, you were there, you were supportive, and you were there. Now, when I was like, I think I might want to my doctorate, you was like, oh, hold on, player.
Right, you need to wait.
Hold on, player. Wait until these kids at least get out of school.
Okay, because it's a lot, you know.
It is a lot.
And I know there's times I haven't been as supportive, or I should have shown up in better ways for you when I was thinking one way, trying to like do something else. So yeah, but overall, it's balanced.
Right.
It's not like I'm not doing nothing at all or doing too much, but then that's where communication comes in.
Right.
And communication has to be clear, right? We have to set, you have to tell people, this is what I'm expecting from you.
You have to give feedback, right?
Right. Or give set expectations, right?
Yes, you set expectations, and then if those expectations aren't met, you still set feedback, right? You give feedback.
Right.
So there's communication that happens to make sure that you guys are progressing. He's acting as if he expected her to be perfect in providing the support that he needs in the way that he needs it after 8 weeks. And he made this statement that it was just like, okay, you really need to go back to your therapist a few more times, because he said we needed more time. I don't think we had all the time that we needed. Well, dummy, you had 8 weeks to make a decision if you wanted more time or if you've gotten enough information to say you don't need more time. So you needed more time. That would have been the point to say, yes, I want to continue on because we need more time.
Yeah, I wouldn't call him dumb. I feel like he emotionally,
I'm using
there's something.
Colloquial term of dumb. I'm not. He's probably very intelligent, right?
I'm glad you're saying that, because what I can tell, something emotionally is not stable in him. And I think him taking the steps to go into therapy is a great sign. And I think his answer was rushed in the sense that, let me say yes until I can really talk to Kristen. We can figure out what we're going to do after the 8 weeks.
Right.
And I think, again, like we said in our last recap, she needed to be honest. Look, I'm upset that you said no because I was falling for you. She still hasn't said that openly in public. Like, look, I was falling for you. I thought that we could have more time to get to know each other because I was falling in love with you. And I think we could make this work. I think with Shaq, he's a perfectionist. And he wants to have this perfect marriage, be the perfect husband, and do all these things we say as relationship goals that are floating and trending on social media and different stuff, when we need to stop pretending. We're all broken people who've had traumatic lives, and we're going to do the best and show up and just be your best person on that day. And then when you can't be that best person, that's when that person comes in and be supportive.
Right.
Helps you through that day so you can show up for the next day. But thinking you're going to be perfect for anyone is you're setting yourself up for failure.
Absolutely.
And he says that. He says that he was in his head a lot of the time. I was in my head. I felt like she wanted me to be like her father, and I need to provide her the home and blah, blah, blah. I'm still trying to get my doctor's degree. He's performing.
Yeah, And here's the thing, though. Both of them, in some respects, were performing. I think she got over her performance a little quicker than he did. But both of them, because the thing that we had against her at the beginning was that she seemed to be perfectionist as well. That she didn't want to let her guard down and let her walls down and seem vulnerable. So, we see that now where they are. So he has moved to Texas, which
Austin,
y'all internet sleuths have already kind of let us know that. The thing that we're trying to get clarification on is because some of y'all are saying that she's there with him now. But he's in Texas. He's taken on a new role in Texas. But they still do talk as far as what we've seen so far, what they've said. Now, as far as the decision, he did say that he had a prophet or a pastor he said prophet.
He didn't say prophet.
He said prophet.
Mm-hmm.
He said this pastor that's in his PhD program
Mm-hmm.
called him up and was like, hey, you got a big decision to make.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he did have a big decision to make
Mm-hmm.
up, right? And he told him that he needed to make a decision for him.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess he took that as a sign to...
But what was the decision for him? That I think he doesn't... The problem is Shaq didn't even know what the decision was for him.
True.
And when someone gives you what we call
a prophetic word
from a Christian, because they did claim to be Christian
mm-hmm.
as they were on the show, then you take that and you take it to prayer, saying, God, what are you exactly saying to me? What does selfish means for me?
Right.
Where do I want to be? You know, is selfish saying that I need to be by myself during this time till I can get myself right?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it like, Lord, help me as I'm, you know, making this decision to stay married, that I don't become selfish?
Yeah.
Because either way, he still would have needed to seek counseling, because as he saw himself, like I told you, he comes off moody.
No, he don't come off moody. He is moody.
So
everything that we've seen, especially when they showed them
clips
black and
where
white
he just
clips.
come in and she's talking to him and he looked mad at the world, and she's talking and he ain't responding. He like, I'm going to bed, and she done stayed up. She stayed up. That's support.
Yeah.
Because I already told you where I would be after 20 years. We're good.
Yeah.
If you want to be something, there would have been something.
Behavior. That's first year behavior. Staying up.
No, some people might still do that. They might. But because how we decided to do our relationship, because I didn't do that when we first got, well, I did stay up when you got up late. I did.
Yeah.
I did.
You did.
So, but, you know, as time's gone, it's not like there's many times you come in late either. We're always together. So I'm just saying, I just think emotionally there was just too much going on for him.
Yeah.
Now, if she is there with him and he's getting the counseling they both need so they can communicate well, it can work out. Marriage takes work.
Yeah.
I don't care how compatible. I don't care if you knew each other 2 or 3 years before you got married, or if you married at first sight. It does not change that marriage is a effort every single freaking day.
Every day?
Every day. Every hour.
Every day?
Every hour. On the hour.
Okay. So he does talk about their communications issues as well, that really they needed to get their communications. Long story short, their cliffhanger is left with them, because he does say that he didn't think that he was the man that was going to be that Kirsten needed in her life, right? So there is kind of the cliffhanger of, do you regret saying no?
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll see what that looks like next week. Looks like there are maybe some controversies that we have coming out from next week. There will, of course, deal with the Clint and Dom situation as far as the kissing, because just the way that they edited that clip, it looks like she's having some issues with it now. I don't know. So we'll see, but let us know your thoughts. Also, Ready to Love will be back in about a week or two, a couple of weeks. So make sure you're
July, right?
Yeah. So make sure you're locked in for that as well. As soon as we get more information on who the cast members are, we'll try and get that information to you guys as well. I think that's it for this one.
Yep.
All right. We'll see y'all next time. Have a great one. Be blessed.
Bye.